Sup peeps, my name's Ian, I sell books on eBay and a bit on Vinted now as well. Isn't it great? 25th of January today, day after the big blaw. Burns night tonight, so everybody get your haggis out and your neeps and tatties. I could give you the whole address to a haggis, but I don't think anybody really wants to hear that. Plus it's always done in that total thespy Scots voice. Mind when, I think primary three, so like 40 odd years ago, every year at school we did like the Burns competition. I think they do it all over Scotland still. And I came third one year in primary three. And I remember being really annoyed because the ones that won it did the middle class, posh, fake, Scottish accent and voice. And that's what got them what they wanted. I fear thee, sconcy bonny who. Really, really annoying. Whereas I just spoke it. So, yeah, and that's how all these addresses tend to go when you hear them. So I'm not going to subject you to that. Instead, I'm going to talk about the books that have been bought over the last day. There's a few more orders than usual to go through, simply because I didn't get a chance to go out and pick some stuff yesterday, which I would have filmed again in the second half of the day. It's been a bit hectic with the wind. I've been out all morning, clearing the garden, picking up bins, working out whose bins who, because they're all in a big piled mess in corners. When I went to do my pick-up earlier on, pick up by going to pick stock to show you guys, corrugated iron roofs scattered across. Well, there was a couple of pieces, the bit I needed to get into, so that was more time and effort and mashed up hands trying to drag ton weight slabs of metal out of the way, which I couldn't drive over because they were all torn up and spiked, and I would have just shredded my tyres, or I might have. I wasn't going to take that chance. So yeah, it's been a bit of a fun day or two. On top of all of that, across 2 orders that have come in, the books don't exist, which is driving me mad, because I know what they are, I know where they are, they're just not there, which will take us quite nicely onto one of the questions that's come in over the last day or so about inventory systems, but I'll get to that in a little while. First though, Vinted orders. Yeah, let's look at the Vinted orders first, see what has come in on those, which means I need to go into that app so that I can actually find them. And is that another one that's come in since? Hold on, I'm just going to go and grab the other one that's just come in. Yay! Got it. Right. So, for £4, I think. Was it £4? Yeah, £4. We got 4, was it Disney different take books. This is a wee bundle by Serena Valentino. So, The Odd Sisters, Evil Tang, Never, old chap, and Cold Hearted. Say £4 for 4 wee books. I've had loads of these in the past, and on eBay they don't really sell very well at all. The odd wee bundle sold, but not an awful lot. Picked up a big stack of them just the other day. Split them up into some bundles, put a few up separately, stuck them on Vinted instead of eBay, because on eBay I know they don't sell. And there's been a lot of interest. People making all sorts of offers, wanting to make split bundles, sell them singly, do this, that and the other. But as I've only had them listed like a day, I'm in no rush to, give them away cheap. So I think that lot were listed at like £4.50. Somebody made me an offer of £4. Yeah, why not? I'll take that. It's £1 a book coming back. Obviously, there's the cost of goods and blah, blah, blah. But, a quick turnaround like that, more than happy with. So that was the first one. Next, we have, let's have a look, for £1, Dracula by, was it Darcy Stoker and J.D. Barker. So some sort of Dracula do-over. Next, we've got another bundle of the Disney books. And this time they went for £4.50. So that was this little lot. Them's there. So we've got Set in Stone. Almost There. Fate Be Changed. Princess of Thieves. Which, Robin Hood one. I was kind of curious to see that. So £4.50 for that lot. That's two bundles of Disney books. So yeah, quite happy with that. Then we've got a single book. It sold for £2. 1,000 Splendid Suns. So in the course of a week, this is the second copy of this I've sold. The other one was a standard size paperback. This be the big boy. 1,000 Splendid Suns by Khalid Hosseini, whatever you say it. I apologise if I butchered that as it went. Right, then we've got two bundles. The first one sold for £8.50. Yeah, £8.50 this one sold for. And it includes Stoner by John Williams, The Pursuit of Love and Other Novels by Nancy Mitford, Demon Copperhead, Barbara Kingsolver, and Margaret Atwood, The Testaments. So that was a nice wee bundle for what it sold for. And finally, we've got a bundle of three that sold for, what did it sell for? £3.75. So these were all cheapy books, but when they bundle up they go okay. Abigail Gibbs, The Dark Heroine, and I've just grabbed another copy of that to list. Ink by Alice Broadway, and another copy of Dracul by Darcy Dacre. I keep saying Darcy, it's not, it's D-A-C-R-E. Dacre? Dagre Stoker. J.D. Barker. Vampire. So yeah, that one sold first, and then I had another copy of it, so I just listed it, and it sold as well. So there you go. Those are the vintage sales. Not bad. I'm quite happy with that. Again, considering the volume I've got listed, yeah, they're flying. They're absolutely flying. Anyway, I'm going to get them moved out of the way to make some room, and I can run through the eBay stuff. 2 secs. Everything is taking so much longer today than it should. The printer won't hook up to the Wi-Fi. Anyway, no moaning. Vinted is all picked, packed and bagged up. Now let's have a look at eBay. So, it's a nice wee sales come in since I was talking to you last, but I'll need to wait till tomorrow to get to that one. Right, first up we have an order of 3 different titles, all going to Jenny33. What have we got? We've got, not that one, Tree of Heaven by May Sinclair. Nice little paperback. I'm assuming there was some sort of discount on these, but on its own, that would have been $5.99. We have a bundle of 4 Ali Smith books. So, winter, autumn. You think the others would be summer and spring, but they're not. They're The Accident and How to Be Both. So 4 Ali Smith books, along with the May one. And what did this sell for? £9.89 on its own. This one, Pattern by Orla Kelly, the Queen of Prints, says Stylist magazine. So yeah, it's all about patterns. It's a lovely looking book actually. So the 3 of those, well, I know it's like 6 books, but it was 3 separate items, as it were, and they're all heading off to Jenny. Next, we've got Jujutsu Kaisen. I've just started watching this on Netflix actually, quite enjoying it. I enjoy these ridiculous things where I've just got zero idea what's going on half the time, but have fun with it anyway. So yes, Jujutsu Kaisen number 14, and that sold for £5.99. Oh, I'll put that one in that pile too. Right, that was the end of that order. Right, is that one by itself? Yes, this one is one all by itself. So I need to put my Greg's back on to see what I'm doing. Anna Karenina by Mr. Tolstoy. Big, chunky. That's a chonker, is it not? £8.48. Usually I've got automatic offers on, so that, you know, if somebody's watching something, it'll send them an offer with like 10% off. But that seems to have stopped. I don't know why. And suddenly I had a whole load of watched items waiting for offers to be sent. So I just sent them all out the other night. And Anna Karenina is one of those books that sold from that because it's a kind of odd price, £8.48, which suggests it's had like, I don't know, 99 pence off it or something. Who knows? Right, the next is another 3 separate orders, or 3 separate items, all going to the same buyer, Blue Pippi. Cool name. Right, first we've got How to Speak Whale. Not Like They Do in Finding Nemo, by Tom Mustill. £8.09 on its own, that one. Then we've got Whatever Happened to the Soul, edited by Warren Brown. There you go. Bit of a different one, that. Spiritualist books, theology, all of these things. I see them, I pick them up. More often than not, they're not worth a huge amount, but every now and again, £9.89. And yeah, there's a beast. It's Alice in Wonderland, the complete set. So Alice Through the Looking Glass and Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, the illustrated by Helen Oxbury edition, which most people will recognise that type of artwork if they've had children in the last 20, 30 years. £13.50, that one on its own would have been. So I don't know if they came in as a bundle deal or if they were all bought with offer money off, in which case they don't bundle. But either way, they're heading to Blue Pippi. Right. Around the World in 80 Plants by Jonathan Drury. Couldn't find this one earlier on either. And it was right where it was supposed to be. I went up and down the shelf, up and down the shelf, up and down the shelf, couldn't see it. And then went and picked another order, went back and it was sitting right there. Gremlins? I don't know, but I've actually been over twice today to do the picking because I figured I was just being dense and missing things. And that's why I couldn't find the other order that I was looking for. But I finally found this one. £8.99. Beautiful book. When I say beautiful book, I will pick it up because more often than not, somebody will want to buy it. Right, a bundle. Yes, a bundle. A bundle of 5. Now, is this one where I changed my pricing? Yes, I believe it is. So, I need 2 hands for this lot. Yoink. 5 JoJo Moyes, couple of hardcovers, 3 little paperbacks, and they sold for £16.97. So that's getting rid of the free postage and just charging a bit more per book, but still buy 3, get 2 free. £5.99 each in the hardcovers, £4.99 each on the paperbacks. So you can work out that for yourself. But £16.97. So it's really not a different amount coming in compared to what I would have got doing it the other way. But I'm just trying different things to see what gets people to bite and buy. Single book, The Photographer's Eye Remastered, 10th Anniversary Edition. There you go. It's about photography. So I told you the other day I'd picked up a big pile of photography books, this being one of them, and it has sold for £8. Oh, quite nice. Right. Now the next lot, I've got piled just out of reach. So I'm just going to see what I did there. Just move them all towards me. It's clever that, isn't it? Doing things just slide. Get it slide, it's smooth. Right. The first three on this pile are all Ann Cleeves paperbacks. And those three paperbacks sold for £9.99. Ba-doom. Right, the next is, it's 3 bundles of books somebody's bought, so it was pre-made bundles, 2 of Harlen Coben, 1 of Stephen Booth. So I'm assuming these go through as buy 2 get 1 free. I would expect them to. Yes. So for £29.98, somebody be buying 13 books, which I think is pretty good. And that's them there. So I'll need to get a wee box for them. Well, not get a wee box, I'll need to put them in a wee box. I've got wee boxes piled all over the place, it drives me mad. But yeah, the 13 of those, let's see, 2 different lots of 5 Harlen Coben and 1 little stack of Stephen Booth. So a big bundle of thrillers heading out for, what did I say, £29 and something? Yeah, £29.98. After eBay have taken their fees, it's £25.93. £6-7 to post it, so can I get £18 back for those 13 books? It's good. It's good. I'm happy with that. Right, the next order is the one where there's 2 books missing. It's Tom Clancy. I've got a shelf full of Tom Clancy books, and 2 of them aren't there. And I know they're there because I remember updating the listing with them really not that long ago. So I cannot work out. I must have picked them up and put them on another shelf, but the unit is so cold at this time of year. I can only spend so long in it, and then I have to go out and get a heat so that my hands keep working. So I will find them before they're due to go out. But it was just really annoying. You know, you go through the same shelf 8 times, expecting it to be different, and it never is. But that's all an aside. Next we have, I'm just looking, yeah, another one sold the new way. So Peter James, 5 Peter James paperbacks, £14.97. So £4.99 each. Buy 2, buy 3, get 2 free, which means you pay £4.99 times 3, which is £14.97 with free postage. And then, no, that's another one I've not got yet. Magisterium, The Iron Trial by Holly Black and Cassandra Clare. That book there, nice hardcover. It's in great condition. That's a good looking book. I like the look at that. And that sold for a massive £6.99. On top of that pile that goes. Right, only a couple more. This one is another single book. Hillbilly Elegy, a memoir of a family and culture in crisis. Profound, a great insight into Trump and Brexit. Political book of the year. There you go. That one there by G.D. Vance, and that sold for £7.99. So I'll put that up there as well. Last sale. I listed quite a few of these not too long ago, and to be honest, I'm kind of surprised that they've sold now, given recent news, which I'm not going to go into because accusations are accusations. You know, I don't want to say anything until people know what's real and what's not. But 4 Neil Gaiman paperbacks, American Gods, and Nancy Boys Never Wear Smoke and Mirrors, and they sold for, I'm guessing, about a tenner. £9.89. 4 paperbacks. So that beat all the eBay orders. Let's see, if I'd one absolute banger has come in, but I can't tell you about that just now because I haven't got it here yet. You need to wait. be patient, see what comes. So, at the start of all of this, I did say there was something else I wanted to talk about, didn't I? Yes, inventory systems. How do you keep track of your stock and keep it organised? Which seems a bit daft me giving any suggestions here, as I couldn't find those flaming Tom Clancy books. Oh, they're there. I know they're there. I just need to go find the fools. They're not on the pile that have been listed and waiting to go, so they have to be on the shelf waiting to be picked. The only thing is, I'm sure I've got more than one copy of each, so something has just been moved aside and not put back. Anyway, enough of that. How do I organise my stock so that I can find it? I mean, I've got thousands and thousands of books across 2 shipping containers. I've got some in here, and I've got a selection that I keep downstairs in climate controlled conditions as well. That's just the stuff that's listed. What do? Well, I have my primary system, which is alphabetical order. So in the shipping containers, all of my kind of bread and butter books, my Peter James, my Anne Cleeves, everything is stored by author. So it's alphabetical, and it's the author's surname that I use to decide whereabouts it goes in that. So we've got Margaret Atwood right at the front, Zufon, Zola right at the end, and it just works round the shelves following that alphabetical piece. Likes of Peter James, I've got 40, 50 Peter James books, so they've got a shelf all to themselves. The same with authors like Michael Connolly, James Patterson, so on and so forth. And then I have a couple of shelves, for example, of authors whose surname begins with an H, but I've maybe only got 1, 2, 3, 4 of their books, so there's no point giving them their own dedicated space. They're all in the H shelves. So if somebody buys a book, for example, Paul Hoffman would be on the H shelf. So I would know to go to the H shelf, and I will find him there. That falls down when I move things from one shelf out of the way to get to stuff at the back of it, and then don't put them back properly, which is what will have happened with the Tom Clancy books. But beyond that, it's fairly reliable. Things tend to be where they should be, and I started with enough space that I've been able to fill in the gaps, working in a rough calculation as to, right, what would 15,000 books look like on these shelves, and therefore managing it accordingly. So I still have space on those shelves to keep adding books in. But with books, they're all the same type of thing, i.e. books. That works well for me at the moment. There are different ways to do it. I could just skew them all, and one Peter James book is on shelf A, box C, and another one's on shelf H, box flib. But nah, I'll just keep them all stacked up on the alphabeticization, and that seems to work. One shipping container goes from A all the way up to L, and then the next one's M and onwards, all the way through from there, which isn't quite as full, mainly because I ran out of money to buy more shelving. And I also keep excess stock in alongside that as well. So yeah, that's the first part. The second thing that I do and I got is, I've got a shelf in the corner there. You can just see the edge of it. This one here. And when I make up bundles, now the ideal with the bundles is that I make up the bundles, I get them wrapped and packed, label the front of them, just with the SKU as to what they are, and then they go on top of one of my racks. So, rack 1, rack 2, rack 3, and I have them stacked along the tops of those racks in the shipping containers. So if, a bundle of Ellie Griffith sells, it'll be Ellie Griffith 1, rack 1. And I know that that is on top of rack 1, so I can go and grab it from there. But I never have either time or enough packaging materials to go ahead and get all of that done in one go. It's much quicker just to list than it is to list, stop, wrap, pack, list, stop, wrap, pack. So with the best intentions, say, well, I'll get all of these listed and then I'll get them wrapped and labelled, and I never do the wrap and label bit. So it means I've got 2 of these units that you can just see in the corner there, filled with pre-made bundles. And I don't know how many pre-made bundles are on that, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 4 times 2, 40, 80. Yeah, probably a couple hundred. And I've got 2 of them. I also, behind me, have a couple of bundles that are made up and have been listed, and I've just sat them up there because there was a space at the time. A few individual books I keep up in the top corner where it's big print ones, and then downstairs I've got a bit of space, it's half the dining room, where I keep kind of antiquarian, more valuable, the signed editions. So if somebody buys something that fits within that category, I know that's where it's going to be, and I can go and get it from there. And it works fairly well. If you're getting started, think about how you want to do that right from the outset and organise yourself that way. So if you're going to do it alphabetically, fine. You don't really need to do much in the way of like stock keeping units. Your SKUs, you can just add stuff to the shelf alphabetically. If you've got 100 books, that starts easy. Once you get to 1,000, that's you got, potentially a few bookcases. Then you need to consider spacing. So if you are doing it alphabetically, you don't finish your A's and then cram straight onto the B's. You need to leave a gap, because you'll might sell a whole load of A's, but you might get a whole load of A's in without selling that many. Nothing is smooth from that point of view. If you're going with any other technique, any other method, again, think about it from the start and decide how you're going to do it. One that is popular with some clothing sellers, from what I've seen, is if you've got a rack or your shelves, your bins, then the newest item just always goes to the front or the back, depending on how you're doing it. So it's numbered. So you know where number 1002 is, because you can see what numbers are round about and you can narrow down to find it there. And the next thing goes up, the next thing goes up. That might work with books. I don't know. If you just got a big long shelf, then you could just keep adding a book to the end of it, or a set of books to the end of it, or whatever you're going to do. As spaces get made from stuff getting pulled out, then it's just slide it along and shift it up. I sold CDs for a wee while, and that's how I had that set up. And I ended up spending ages moving stuff along and, up the shelves and keeping it all so that it was in the right place. But, each to their own. But the most important thing is that you do think about it before you get started. Know how you're going to store stuff. And not, you could take an attic or a garage or a cupboard under the stairs and just cram stuff into it and get quite a lot in, but you'll never get it back out. Every time you want something, it will be the thing in the furthest back corner at the very bottom, and you will have to dig to get it, and just waste a lot of time doing that. And that's speaking from experience. I have wasted a lot of time picking orders where if I had been just a bit more organised, maybe a bit less lazy is a good way of putting it, then they would have been much easier to find. And these Tom Clancy books that have eluded me this morning are a very good example of that. They should be sat on the Tom Clancy shelf. I've just got one Tom Clancy shelf, but I have moved a wee pile from that shelf and sat it somewhere to get in at it in the past, and I have not put them back. Or in my rush to put books away when it's been really cold, I've picked them up along with, maybe I've had a bundle of Michael Connolly or Jeffrey Deaver, and I've picked up some Tom Clancy books when I've been going to put stuff away along with them, and they've ended up on the shelf with those. So I need to go find them and get that sorted out. So yeah, a bit annoying. But be organised. The latest addition to all of this, which is just a temporary thing, is I have just put another bookcase up, and it's full of the couple of hundred books I've got listed on Vinted now. There's going to be more getting added to that. The idea is that they will just be in with my normal stock. You know, when they're just books, they can be stored alphabetically, or they can be stored as bundles, just like everything else. There's no need to keep them separate. But just while, you know, first couple of weeks, whilst we're giving Vinted a run, I've just been stacking them on this bookcase so that I get a much better sense of what's going and what's moving, and I can get to them quite quickly and work through them that way. So I say there's no need for me to be doing that, but I've just decided to do that for this initial wee spell. And at some point in the next few weeks, they'll all go into bags, go to storage, and get put away in their proper places. One of the reasons I'm doing that at the moment is I've got a lot of stuff on the shelves that might be quite good for Vinted that doesn't sell well on eBay. Excuse me a moment. Random. Somebody chapping on the door to ask if I wanted to sell my car to them. My car's not for sale. It's true. To be honest, that's the second time that's happened with that car, and it's nothing special. It's a wee, like, 10-year-old, 12-year-old, 13-year-old Fiesta. So I don't know why the interest. It's been parked in the drive doing nothing for a long time. Heck, I'm still paying it off. But very strange. Anyway, does that happen to anyone else? People just come to your door and say, do you want to sell your car? No. Anyway, enough. I was talking about inventory stuff. Yes, the Vinted. I've got quite a few books on the shelves that I think could be good for Vinted. So I'm pulling them a wee bit at a time. If I went and grabbed them all at once, it would just be even more chaos here. So I'm just grabbing a few as I go around and getting them listed up and see how they go. If I went and put all of these books onto those shelves, then I'd very quickly lose track of what's already listed on Vinted and what might be good to list on Vinted. So that's the real reason why I'm not putting them away just now. It just took me a moment to remember it. Indeed, it did. I grabbed a few today to stick on Vinted. So I've already sold a copy of Stoner, so I thought there's one other one to get put back on. I do have a few of these Disney books just on my shelves, so I've grabbed a couple of those that were sitting. I've got a couple of different Gregory Maguire books. Not Wicked. I've got Wicked. In fact, I've probably sold out of Wicked. But these big Gregory Maguire books, they're pretty books. So I thought, let's give them a wee shot, see how they go. And then random things, anything that looks a bit fantasy. You know, things like The Witcher, Maggie Stiefvater, some sci-fi. You get the idea. A box set of Jenny Han, yes. To all the boys I've loved before, the complete collection, and such like things. I am picking and sticking on Vinted. So I've got maybe 50 books that I've pulled at the moment that I want to get listed up. I don't see the point in grabbing any more than that at a time. Also, there's a few titles where I do have multiples and they seem to be selling. So I've got those multiples pulled out as well, so that when one sells, I'll just put another one up at that point there. Still finding it frustrating that I can't just relist an item when you have to kind of do it all from scratch. I'm probably missing something. If I am, please tell me. Otherwise, it's not that big of a deal. If you know something's going to sell, you can just keep battering it up and out. And that is the day. I've got these eBay orders to get packed. So, what's that, like 16, 17 of them. So it's not a huge amount of effort or work, but it's later in the day than it usually is by the time I get to these things. So I'm going to get cracked on with that. Scratch my head about these bloody Tom Clancy books. And have my dinner. We've recovered from the storm. We have survived. So anyway, this has been Saturday, the 25th of January. I am not having haggis tonight. Quite like haggis, but it's just me tonight, so I'm not going to bother with that. Maybe on Monday we'll have haggis, deeps and tatties. And beans. Yeah, I know it doesn't sound right, but it works. And that'll be that. Right, as ever, thank you all for watching. If you've stuck it through to here, I was supposed to be making another video today for the other channel. In fact, I was meant to be doing that on Thursday, and I have still not got to it. It has just been a bit mad. So I'll maybe do that, and then I'll do the packing. I'll maybe do the packing and do that later on. Nah, who knows. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, do all these things that cost you nothing other than a few moments of your time, but make a great deal of difference to the channel. It means an awful lot to me. Thank you very much. Good night and goodbye.